The ground shook like the world was unraveling at its seams. In the heart of San Francisco, amid the chaos of crumbling buildings and screaming sirens, Alex Thompson dove into the rubble without a second thought. A woman's cry pierced the dust-filled air, "Help! Please, someone," and in that split second, Alex forgot about the suit he was wearing, the resume clutched in his hand, and the job interview that could change everything. He was a single dad, not a hero. But sometimes, life doesn't give you a choice. Alex had woken up that morning with a knot in his stomach tighter than the tie he fumbled to knot. At 35, he was no stranger to hard knocks. 3 years ago, his wife, Sarah, had been taken by a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise their daughter, Lily. Lily was 8 now, with Sarah's bright blue eyes and a laugh that could light up the darkest days. But those days had been plenty dark lately. Alex worked 2 jobs, a mechanic by day and a delivery driver by night, just to keep the lights on in their tiny apartment. Lily's asthma attacks were getting worse, and the medical bills piled up like unpaid rent notices. The interview today was for a senior mechanic position at Apex Auto, a company that promised stability, benefits, and enough salary to finally breathe easy. "This is it, kiddo," he'd told Lily as he kissed her forehead before dropping her at school. "Daddy's gonna nail this one." The city was alive with its usual hustle as Alex navigated the crowded streets toward the Apex building. He rehearsed his answers in his head. "Yes, I have 10 years of experience. No, I don't mind overtime, family comes first, but so does commitment." His phone buzzed, a reminder from his calendar, interview at 10 a.m. Sharp. He quickened his pace, heart pounding with a mix of nerves and hope. Then, the earth betrayed them. It started as a low rumble, like a distant train, but escalated into a violent quake that buckled sidewalks and shattered windows. People screamed, cars swerved, and buildings groaned under the assault. Alex stumbled, grabbing a lamppost for balance as the ground heaved. Dust clouded the sky, and in the distance, he heard the ominous crack of concrete giving way. A nearby office tower, old and unassuming, partially collapsed, its facade crumbling like a house of cards. Amid the panic, Alex's instincts kicked in. He wasn't thinking about the interview anymore, survival mode took over. As he ran toward clearer ground, he heard it again, that desperate cry from beneath a pile of debris. "Help, I can't move." It was coming from what used to be the entrance of a small cafe attached to the office building. Without hesitation, Alex veered toward the rubble. "Hold on, I'm coming," he shouted, his voice raw over the aftershocks. The scene was a nightmare, twisted metal, broken glass, and chunks of concrete everywhere. He spotted a hand waving weakly from under a fallen beam. It was a woman, pinned beneath the wreckage, her face streaked with dirt and blood. She looked to be in her late 40s, with sharp features softened by fear. "Please," she gasped as he approached. "My leg, it's trapped." Alex's hands trembled as he assessed the situation. He wasn't a trained rescuer, but he'd fixed enough wrecked cars to know about leverage and weak points. "Okay, stay with me," he said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. "I'm Alex. What's your name?" "Elena," she whispered, wincing in pain. "Elena Vargas. All right, Elena, we're getting you out." He scanned the debris, spotting a loose rebar rod. Using it as a makeshift lever, he wedged it under the beam, grunting with effort as he pushed. The ground still trembled with aftershocks, threatening to bring more down on them. Sweat poured down his face, mixing with dust. But he didn't stop. Memories flashed. Sarah's final days in the hospital, how helpless he'd felt. He couldn't let that happen again, not to a stranger, not when he could do something. With a final heave, the beam shifted just enough. Elena cried out as he pulled her free, her leg mangled but intact. He tore off his suit jacket to staunch the bleeding, wrapping it around her wound. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. "You're okay," he assured her, though his own heart raced. "Help's coming." Paramedics arrived moments later, taking over. As they loaded Elena onto a stretcher, she grabbed Alex's hand. "You saved my life," she said, tears cutting clean paths through the grime on her cheeks. "I don't know how to thank you." "Don't worry about it," Alex replied, forcing a smile. "Just get better." But as the ambulance doors closed, reality crashed back. He glanced at his watch, 10:45 a.m. The interview. He'd missed it. Completely. The rest of the day blurred into a haze of chaos. Alex made his way home through the disrupted city, his phone dead from the quake's power outages. When he finally charged it hours later, there were missed calls from Apex Auto and a voicemail. "Mr. Thompson, we're sorry you couldn't make it. We've filled the position. His stomach dropped. How would he explain this to Lily? The job was supposed to mean no more ramen dinners, no more skipping her inhaler refills to pay the electric bill. He sank onto the couch, head in his hands, fighting back tears. Being a single dad meant being strong, but right now, he felt like he was failing. Lily burst through the door from the neighbor's place where she'd been after school. "Daddy, did you feel the earthquake? It was so scary." She threw her arms around him, and he held her tight, burying his face in her hair. "Yeah, sweetie, it was. But we're okay." He didn't tell her about the interview, not yet. Instead, he made her favorite mac and cheese from a box, listening to her chatter about her day, her innocent joy a balm on his wounded spirit. Hours ticked by into the evening. Alex tried to distract himself by fixing a leaky faucet, but his mind wandered back to Elena. He hoped she was all right. A knock at the door startled him. It was past 8 p.m., who could that be? He opened it to find a man in a crisp suit, holding a tablet. "Are you Alex Thompson?" the man asked. Yeah, can I help you? I'm from Vargas Enterprises. Ms. Elena Vargas sent me. She said you saved her life today." Alex blinked, confused. Vargas Enterprises. Wait, the tech firm. The one that owns half the startups in the Bay Area. The man nodded. "Ms. Vargas is our CEO. She was on her way to a meeting when the quake hit. She's in the hospital now, broken leg, some bruises, but she'll recover. She insisted I find you immediately." Alex's mind reeled. Elena Vargas. The Elena Vargas. He'd heard of her, a self-made billionaire, philanthropist, and single mom herself after a high-profile divorce. She'd built her empire from nothing, focusing on innovative auto tech and sustainable energy. And he'd just pulled her from the rubble like it was nothing. The man continued, "Ms. Vargas wants to thank you personally. She's arranged for you to visit her tomorrow. And, she mentioned something about a job." The next morning, Alex dressed in his best remaining shirt, his suit was ruined, and headed to the hospital. Lily in tow because school was closed due to quake damage. His heart pounded as they entered Elena's room. She was propped up in bed, her leg in a cast, but her eyes lit up when she saw him. "Alex, and this must be Lily." Elena smiled warmly, gesturing them closer. "Come in, please." Lily shyly approached, clutching a drawing she'd made, a stick figure hero saving a lady from a falling building. "This is, for you," she said. Elena's eyes misted. "It's perfect. Thank you, sweetheart." She turned to Alex. "I couldn't stop thinking about what you did. You risked everything for a stranger." "Why?" Alex shrugged, sitting beside her. I lost my wife a few years back. She was everything to us. If someone had been there for her. I don't know. I just couldn't walk away." Elena nodded, her expression softening with understanding. "I'm a single parent too. My son, Mateo, is 10. His dad and I split when he was young. I know the juggle, the fear of not providing enough." She paused, glancing at her assistant who hovered nearby. "I did some digging, discreetly, I promise. I know about your interview at Apex Auto." Alex's face flushed. "Yeah, about that. I missed it because you were saving my life," Elena interrupted gently. "Apex is one of my subsidiaries. I own it." She let that sink in, watching his eyes widen. "The position is yours, Alex. No interview needed. In fact, I'm promoting it, lead engineer in our new sustainable vehicles division. Full benefits, including top-tier health coverage for Lily's asthma." Tears welled in Alex's eyes. I don't know what to say. "This is too much. It's not enough," Elena said firmly. "But there's more. I've set up a fund for Lily's medical needs, whatever she requires, it's covered. And if you ever need time off for her, take it. Family first, always." Lily beamed, hugging Elena carefully. "You're like a superhero too." As they left the hospital, Alex felt a weight lift he hadn't realized he'd been carrying. The city was still recovering, debris cleared, lives mended, but so was he. That night, tucking Lily in, he whispered, "Sometimes, sweetie, doing the right thing comes back to you in ways you never expect." The story of Alex and Elena spread quietly at first, then like wildfire through social media and news outlets. It became a beacon of hope in a shaken city, a reminder that kindness in crisis isn't just heroic, it's transformative. Alex started his new job, thriving under Elena's mentorship, and the two families grew close, sharing holidays and hardships. Elena often said, "One act of courage saved 2 lives that day, mine and yours." In the end, it's not the earthquakes that define us, but the choices we make amid the tremors. Skip the path laid out for you to help another, and fate might just rewrite your story with grace. Because true strength isn't in holding on, it's in letting go for someone else. And in that release, miracles unfold.